presentation techniques. You can just unmute yourselves and share your thoughts. What are presentation techniques? Even you can type it in the chat box. What is your understanding of presentation techniques?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon.
So presentation techniques means, if we are planning to convey any message, so how effectively we can deliver our message. So with the presentation skills, so that is called as presentation technique.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. Thank you, Ms. Sarika, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So, as the slide also tells you, it refers to the methods, strategies, and skills, right, to use to effectively deliver the information or ideas or even our messages to our audience. So, how do we do this? Especially in a clear manner, engaging manner. Yes, we have to engage our audience for whatever the duration it is. It could be 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, based on your schedule. Plus it should be in a memorable manner, right? Even after a week I will be able to recall something whatever my teacher taught me or the speaker told to me. So what is the importance of effective presentations? See, in today's dynamic educational landscape, the ability to deliver effective presentations is vital, as I already told you. And this is especially for the educators, whether it could be in online or offline settings. So, effective presentations, they not only facilitate the transfer of knowledge, right, but also it enhances our students' engagement, their comprehension, how do they understand whatever we teach them. Plus, the retention of information is the last part, which is very, very important. See, whether you are conducting lectures in a traditional classroom or delivering something like online courses similar to this program, as educators, we all must possess strong presentation skills. Hope you agree with me. So then only we can effectively communicate even the complex concepts and engage our audience, and even diverse audiences we can engage. When I speak about, say, online settings such as classroom lectures, seminars, workshops, training sessions, our presentations, if effective, it captures our students' attention. It also promotes active participation, and plus, it will be creating a conducive learning environment. Meanwhile, when we speak about the scenario of online settings, as we all know, face to face interaction is very limited, and engaging presentations are very much essential. Then only we can maintain the interest of our learners. We can promote interaction between the speaker as well as the learner. Then we will be ensuring there are effective learning outcomes. So, whichever mode of learning, we all have understood that by honing our presentation skills, as educators, we all can create memorable learning experiences. Even we can inspire our learners and contribute to the overall quality of education in HEIs, higher education institutions. So now the next question is how to equip ourselves. Can somebody tell me what we must be doing to give the best presentation? How do we make our presentations effective? Audience, can somebody tell me? How do we equip ourselves to give the best presentation possible from our side? How do we give the best presentation to our audience? So how to equip ourselves with the tools, with the techniques, or even strategies which are necessary to deliver compelling presentations. That means we can resonate with our audience and we are driving towards the meaningful learning outcomes. How? Any answers? Yes. Sarika ma'am tells we should be crisp and clear. Very right. Dr. M. Ashok Kumar sir says to be clear and specific. Correct, sir. Yes. See, in higher education institutions, effective teachers, especially like you'll be wearing multiple hats. You are a knowledgeable scholar because you possess deep subject knowledge. You become a skilled writer when you try to articulate your ideas very clearly. You also become creative producers because you are trying to create engaging learning experiences to your students. We also sometimes become witty comedians, right? We'll be infusing some sort of humor into our lessons. And we must also be something like a captivating showman for that 1 hour, 2 hours of time, because we need to hold our audience attention. And of course, with all these diverse roles to play, we all want to be effective teachers, facilitating our students' learning. How do we do that? Let us see. At first, we have to understand our audience for effective presentations. See, understanding your audience, it's paramount. It's vital for delivering impactful presentations. As we already discussed, whether it is in online or even in offline settings. So, in higher education institutions, how do we promote engagement and comprehension? First thing, we have to know our audience. What does this mean? Can somebody tell me? Know your audience. What is the meaning of this?
For example, ma'am, for example, if we are considering the students, I mean, there will be different, I mean, the learners will be of different types. So some will be audible learners, some will be kinesthetic learners. So based on their needs, we can cater to them. So we can plan our lessons and present it accordingly.
Correct, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sarika, ma'am. So you have also typed in the chat box. Through our presentation, we should give a chance for our audience definitely to interact with them rather than giving just a one-side lecture. Yes. Dr. M. Ashok Kumar sir says language plays. Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you for these inputs. So know your audience means I have given something as demographics. So we have to familiarize ourselves with the diverse demographics as Sarika madam told us. So, who are all present in our classroom or in our virtual space? Factors such as age, cultural background, the educational level, even their professional experience, it can significantly influence. How is our audience, how are our audience perceiving whatever we tell, and how do they interact with our content matters? Suppose, say you are teaching a class about the environment. First, try to understand who your students are. Is this necessary? Definitely. Are they mostly the young adults who are studying environmental science? Are they from diverse backgrounds? You need to know this, yes, to cater them better. Then we need to explore the interests and motivations of your audience members. We need to know, are our students, are our learners passionate about this particular subject matter? Do they have specific career goals or personal aspirations that relate to your presentation topic? So, in the previous example, try to find out whether your students like learning about renewable energy because we are speaking about environment, or something like urban sustainability. Now, if you tailor your content to resonate with their interests, then only it enhances the relevance plus their receptivity. Then try to assess the prior or existing knowledge base of your audience. What do they know about the subject matter already? Now, try to figure out what your students already know about this topic. Some might be experts, while others might be just beginners. So, acknowledging their prior knowledge, it allows you to scaffold your presentation effectively. Then what you can do, you can plan accordingly. You can avoid redundancy, or you can just avoid overwhelming complexity in your topic. Then coming to the second one, adaptation of presentation style and content. See, once you have the insights into your audience demographics, interests, and prior knowledge, now try to adjust your presentation style accordingly. Now, say for example, if your audience comprises of say tech savvy individuals, now incorporating multimedia elements as well as the interactive features, it can heighten their attendance. Don't you think so? Yes. Then conversely, say if you are addressing a more traditional audience, let us say a structured or even a verbal delivery, it might be more appropriate to your traditional audience. Right. So that's why we need to understand who our audience are, their background, their demographics, their interests, their passions, everything. Then customize your content. Why should we do that? So that we can align with the preferences as well as the expectations of our audience. Try to emphasize the topics that match with their interests and relevance, right? It should be whatever I'm speaking, it must be relevant to either their academic or professional pursuits, right? Else, whatever we speak it just goes waste. Additionally, you can also strike a balance between providing some foundational information, say for the beginners, and also you can delve into the advanced concepts for the seasoned learners. Say, in continuation with the same example, for beginners, let us start with the basics of water cycle, right? How water evaporates, how it forms as clouds and returns as rain. Now, understanding this particular cycle, it is crucial for grasping how our environment sustains life, isn't it? Yes. On the contrary, if our audience are advanced learners, now we will delve into the intricacies of, say, biogeochemical cycles. We can even focus on the nitrogen cycle's role. What is its role in the ecosystem dynamics? And what is its implications on the sustainable agriculture? This is how we customize the content for our for the beginners as well as for the advanced learners. Then coming to the third one, engagement through interactive elements. Please integrate interactive elements into your presentations. Why should we do that? To foster active participation and deeper commitment of your learners. What can we do? So we can include live polls. We can go ahead with Q&A sessions, question and answer sessions. We can also plan for breakout discussions, virtual simulations, or say even collaborative activities. Now, by inviting your audience members to actively contribute to this learning process, what is it you are doing as educators? You are trying to create a dynamic and inclusive learning environment, right? Then also encourage feedback and dialogue throughout your presentation. Means, why do we do this? We want to gauge the audience command on the subject matter. If at all they have any sort of misconceptions, right, we need to address that. If they raise the questions, let us try to answer it promptly. Then coming to the online classes, we can utilize the chat functions, or say even we have that virtual hand raising tools. If somebody has some questions, right, we can try to genuinely address them. Or even we can use that designated discussion periods. Means we are trying to facilitate meaningful interaction, and we are also trying to cultivate a sense of community amongst all our participants, right? Okay. Hope we are clear so far. uh, yes, Nitya Priya ma'am, understanding the psychology of students, right? Are we clear so far? Can I have a yes or no on the chat box? Am I too fast? Right. Thank you. The next thing is structuring your presentation for maximum impact. See, your compelling presentation, it begins with a strong structure. Means that captivates your audience from the outset. Now, by strategically organizing your content and guiding your audience through a coherent narrative, means you're trying to lay a foundation for an appealing and brilliant learning experience. Now, in introduction, let us try to grab the attention. What does this mean? Grabbing the attention and stating the objectives means you start your presentation with a captivating hook, that grabs the attention of your audience. Means you are trying to establish relevance to their interests or concerns. How do we do this? This could be a thought-provoking question that you ask before starting, or say one sort of startling statistic that you give. It will be wondering your audience, or even you can start with a relevant anecdote or even a visually stunning image. Say, for example, you can just start with some sort of catchy statement like, do you know that solar energy could power the world? How do you feel? Yes, I'm trying to grab the attention of all the audience present here with this catchy statement, isn't it? I said that, did you know that solar energy could power the world? Whole world, oh my God, how is it possible? Yes, I'm trying to grab your attention with this statement. Then we need to clearly articulate the objectives. So what are the objectives of my presentation? That means I'm trying to provide a roadmap for my listeners. State what you aim to accomplish or what your attendees can expect to learn by the end of the session. You can tell your audience what you'll cover. Say, like in continuation with the previous example, you can tell, today we will talk about solar energy benefits and how we can use it more. Now, if I tell this in the beginning itself, this helps set expectations, and also it will be creating a sense of purpose as well as we know the direction. Even I know, even you will be, isn't it? Then, organizing the main body. So, try to structure your presentation in a logical sequence. That means you are guiding your audience through the flow of information in a cohesive manner. Now, you arrange your content in a way, right, that builds upon the previous concepts and it is leading to a comprehensive understanding of the topic. Try to organize your talk in a simple order. Say what solar energy is, why is it good, what problems it faces, and how can we fix them. Simple. We have a simple order. I said, what is solar energy? Why is it? What are its advantages? Why is it good? What are the challenges it is facing? And how do we fix it? How do we find a solution for that? Yes, everybody can understand this. Excuse me. Then we can use clear and descriptive headings as well as subheadings so that we can delineate or we can demarcate the different sections of our presentation. That means this will be helping us to break down the complex information into digestible chunks, right? And then it will be facilitating navigation for your audience. Try to use clear titles for each part, like what is solar energy on one slide. Next, we go ahead with introduction. Then next slide is followed by challenges. The last slide could be the solutions, right? Okay. Then how to craft a compelling conclusion. Summarizing the key points. So in the conclusion of your presentation, try to recapitulate or sum up all the key points and insights that you covered throughout your discourse. Quickly recap what all you said. Highlight the main benefits of that solar energy and the need to overcome its challenges. Now what will happen? This will be reinforcing the learning process and it helps to solidify the understanding amongst your audience members. Am I right? Okay. Then you can conclude your presentation with a compelling call to action or takeaway message. Means you are inspiring your audience further for further reflection or for further action. So encourage your audience to apply the knowledge gained. Try to explore the related resources or engage in the follow-up discussions. Then what is it you are doing as educators? You are trying to deepen their understanding of the topic. You can just end by encouraging action, such as supporting the solar projects or say using solar energy at their effective visual design tips. Let me give that. So, visual design, it plays a crucial role in enhancing the clarity as well as the impact of your presentations. As I keep on repeating this, whether you are teaching online or offline, Yes, optimizing your visuals, it ensures that your audience can easily grasp and retain the key information. They do not miss any points. Now, what do we do to design our visuals? Keep the slides clean and uncluttered, in the sense organized. Already, I guess Dr. Ashok sir has given this. Even Sarika ma'am, crisp and clear, to be clear and specific. Yes. So let us simplify our slides by avoiding overcrowding with either text or even the images. What we should do, we should remember that let us embrace the white space. That means we are trying to provide visual breathing room, right? And we are trying to maintain focus on the core message. With too much of images, too much of charts, tables, what does it we do? We are we are not grabbing the attention of the audience, but the thing is they lose their focus. What is the important message? What is the core message? They do not understand at all, right? So we need to limit each slide to one main idea or the concept, that one main concept. That means we are trying to prevent that cognitive overload, and we are also trying to facilitate better comprehension for them. Say, for example, suppose you are teaching a biology class and say you want to explain the process of photosynthesis. Now, instead of cramming all the details onto one slide, you try to create separate slides for each stage. Say, first slide goes with introduction to photosynthesis. Next slide, you give it for chloroplast structure. Then in the next slide, we can go ahead with light reaction, followed by Kelvin cycle, then regulation and efficiency. And in the last slide, you can go ahead with the real world applications of the same. So what happened? We totally got almost 7 to 8 slides here. Now, each slide contains concise bullet points or diagrams, right? It will be illustrating the key steps. That means you are allowing your students to focus on one aspect at a time, and they are not feeling that they are weighed down. Okay. Then try to use your visuals wisely. What does that mean? Incorporate the appropriate apt images, proper graphs, charts to complement whatever you are trying to tell. That means your verbal explanations. And try to reinforce the key points visually. Now, choose the visuals that enhance the understanding as well as their commitment, right? Let it not be, let it not serve as like mere decoration, right? Instead of that, let it give some knowledge, even your images, graphs, charts, tables, everything, the GIFs, whatever you use, the videos, right? Let it not be something like a decoration, extra decoration, but let it help your audience to understand more, the concept more. Now, yeah, as I told you, please ensure that each visual serves a specific purpose and also it is contributing meaningfully to the content. Say, in a psychology lecture, when you are discussing about different cognitive theories, you include a slide comparing the key features of behaviorism, then cognitivism, then constructivism. Means you are trying to use a clear and visually appealing chart. Each theory you are trying to represent with a distinct color. You put concise labels or icons, right? That will be accompanying each concept. Means you are facilitating the understanding of your students, plus you are helping them to retain the retention of the complex ideas. Choose readable fonts and appropriate colors. Yes, this is very, very important. Opt for clear, readable fonts. It could be Arial, Calibri. We have N number, right? Helvetica. Why do I say this? We need to maximize the legibility, especially from a distance or even on the smaller screens. Your audience must be able to read. They must be in a position to understand what is it that you have put on your slide. And please select the colors that provide sufficient contrast for easy visibility, particularly between the text as well as the background, whatever you try to use. Just look into my slide. This is a classy example with white background and black text, isn't it? Now, Please avoid overly bright or clashing color combinations because it will be straining the eyes, and it will also be detracting the readers from the content itself. Even you can use a dark blue background with white text. Means you are trying to ensure high contrast and readability. You can accent important points with a complementary color. Something like you can use orange. You are trying to highlight a key information. And again, with these color combinations, you are not causing any sort of visual strain. Conversely, just imagine we have a bright yellow background with white text. How do you feel, audience? A bright yellow background, yes, with a white text. How do you feel? It's difficult
Content
to
will not be visible.
correct. It will not be visible, very difficult to read. As I told you, it will be straining our eyes, as well as we will be losing interest, right? Because we cannot look at it even for a few seconds. So the lack of contrast, it is making the text hard to read, and definitely it is visually straining for the audience. So my request is, please maintain a professional and accessible visual appearance, whether it is your online classes or offline teaching environments. Okay. Engaging presentation techniques. See, you should employ attractive presentation techniques. Then only you can transform those passive listeners into active participants in your session. How can we do that? First thing, storytelling. Means you are trying to connect with the audience emotions plus their experiences. What you can do as educators, try to share relevant incidents. You can even go with the real life examples or even your personal experiences. Means you are trying to impact your audience interests and challenges. Try to weave a compelling narrative. Try to capture the attention of the audience. That means you are trying to evoke their emotional commitment. You're also making the abstract concepts more relatable, more memorable, right? Say, for example, in a sociology class, when you are trying to discuss the impact of globalization on our cultural identity, as a professor, what you can do, you can begin by sharing a personal anecdote about your own experiences. Say you would have traveled abroad, try to share your experiences. Now they recount an encounter, isn't it, with the local community, when especially when you are in a foreign country. Then how it challenged your perceptions, sorry, preconceptions. What about that cultural diversity? Your personal story, it is humanizing this topic, the impact of globalization on cultural identity. Means you're allowing your students to connect emotionally with whatever you faced, whatever was your experience. You're also prompting them to reflect on their own cultural experiences, biases, isn't it? Yes, that is the power of storytelling. Then we need to use multimedia. We can use videos, animations, so that we can illustrate the concepts. We can have interactive simulations. We can integrate multimedia elements. As I told you, the videos, animations, interactive simulations. That means we are trying to bring those intangible concepts to life. Whatever we cannot understand, those theoretical concepts, those abstract concepts, we are giving them some sort of life through these videos. See, visual aids, they not only enhance the comprehension, but also they cater to diverse learning styles. As Sarika ma'am told me in the introduction slide itself, yes, we need to cater to visual and auditory learners too. Now, choose your multimedia content that aligns with your lesson's objectives. And you must be strengthening the key learning points effectively. Say, during a physics lecture class, let us take a very simple concept, Newton's laws of motion. We all know about it. Yes, as an instructor, what you can do, you try to incorporate a short video clip. Means that clip is demonstrating each law in action. For Newton's first law, inertia, you can show a footage of a car coming to a sudden stop. Means You are illustrating how objects in motion tend to stay in motion unless acted upon by an external force. We all know, yes, Newton's first law of motion means your visual representation. It is helping your students to visualize even those theoretical concepts. This is what I told, those abstract concepts. If we tell them, what is this? What does Newton's law tell us? They cannot understand, right? If we show them a video, yes, it is solidifying their understanding of the principles. How? Especially through the real world examples. Then, coming to the group activities, we can use breakout sessions, discussions, especially when we want to have a active participation from our listeners. Now, you can promote collaborative learning through this group activities. It could be the breakout sessions, you can bring in case studies, or even you can have the structured discussions. Suppose, say we all are in a marketing class. We are trying to explore the consumer behavior. As a teacher, what you can do, you can try to organize a breakout session. Means your students will be working in small groups and they will be analyzing the case study. Suppose it could be on a successful advertising campaign. Now, each group is tasked with identifying their target audience. How should be their message appeal? Plus the effectiveness of the campaign in influencing the consumer behavior. Now, after deliberation, what do the groups do? They try to present their findings to the class. Means through this, what is it you are doing? You are encouraging collaborative learning, yes, plus the critical thinking, and even they can get the peer feedback. Now, this group activity, it supports, as I told you, the active participation, and also you are allowing your students to apply the theoretical concepts to practical scenarios. Means you are enhancing their understanding of the marketing principles, right? Okay. So harnessing technology for effective teaching. How do we incorporate technology in our teaching? Whether teaching in person or online. Leveraging the digital tools and platforms, it empowers the educators so that we will be trying to create dynamic and inclusive learning environments. Coming to the online platforms. So embrace online communication platforms. We have any number of platforms, isn't it? We have Zoom, Google Meet, we have Microsoft Teams, Skype, Slack, WebEx, GoToMeeting. Uh, the list just goes on. We have Blue Jeans, Zoho Meeting, Jitsi Meet, Ring Central, whereby then we have Big Blue Button. So many. Yes, the list just goes on. So please utilize these platforms, yes, so that you can facilitate virtual seamless interactions. You can even have synchronous and asynchronous learning experiences too, right? They offer features, many features like video conferencing, just now what we are experiencing. Uh, they have screen sharing, right? They have the recording capabilities, chat functionality. Now we are trying to enable the real-time presence, collaboration, regardless of our geographical distance, isn't it? Yes. Then coming to the interactive tools. Leverage the interactive tools. Like already I told you, we can use polls, we can use quizzes, virtual whiteboards, so that we can promote the active participation of our audience, right? As well as the formative assessment can be done. See, the polls and quizzes, it provides you the instant feedback on what is the understanding of your students. And similarly, you can change or you can adapt your instructions in real time. Then coming to the virtual whiteboards, it will be facilitating the collaborative problem solving, the visual brainstorming. It will also be fostering a sense of shared ownership over their learning outcomes. And even for varied engagement, you can experiment with the gamified quizzes as well, if it suits your subject, right? Then we can go ahead with interactive simulations or the collaborative document editing also. So that what is it we are trying to do here? We are trying to stimulate involvement plus creativity of our audience. Then accessibility. Under this, we have inclusive design. Means we are trying to prioritize accessibility when creating and sharing the instructional materials. Means as teachers, you are ensuring there is equitable access to all your learners. You need to consider the diverse needs, such as, see, some students, they'll be having visual impairments. There will be auditory disabilities. There'll also be motor limitations. Now, when selecting your digital resources and when you're trying to design learning experiences, please consider these diverse needs of each and every audience. Each and every learner is important to us, right? Then provide alternatives. Means try to offer multiple means of accessing the content, such as we can use closed captioning for the videos, transcripts, we can use that for our audio recordings, and even we can use alternative text descriptions for our images. What is it we are trying to do? Additionally, we are ensuring that the digital documents are formatted for our screen readers and it is compatible with the assistive technologies. Means we are ensuring that as educators, we are supporting our learners with disabilities. How do we master effective communication? See, effective communication, it lies at the heart of successful teaching and the learning process. Now, by employing the below mentioned strategies, we all can create rapport with our students. Clarity means at first we need to simplify our language. Try to communicate your ideas using clear and concise language. Please, for God's sake, avoid that unnecessary jargons, those technical terms which will be only confusing your students. And nextly, you try to break down the complex concepts into manageable portions, small modules, small units. Okay. Then try to provide examples, uh, analogies, so that you can aid that they are absorbing more. The absorption is more. Then try to ensure your communication is accessible to all sorts of learners, regardless of their background, regardless of their prior knowledge, whatever they have. Then please use the language that is inclusive, that is understandable to all your varied attendees, right? Try to nurture an environment where everyone feels valued, where everyone feels, yes, I'm important, I'm engaged. Say in a biology lecture, when you are discussing about cellular respiration, okay, this is the concept we are trying to discuss. The educator explains the concept using simple language and relatable concepts, relatable examples. So instead of delving into complex that biochemical pathways, what you can do, try to compare this process of cellular respiration to how humans breathe. Try to compare it, right? Kindly explain that the cells breathe oxygen to produce energy, just like the humans breathe in oxygen to fuel our own bodies. What is it you're doing? You're avoiding the technical jargon. You're using the familiar terms. Means you're ensuring that all your students, regardless of their scientific background, they are able to grasp the fundamental concept. Am I clear? Okay. Next one is confidence. Please establish a connection with your gathering. How do we do this? Try to maintain the eye contact throughout your presentation or lecture. See, eye contact means you are conveying that, yes, I am confident. It conveys your poise. It conveys your attentiveness plus your sincerity. Means you are able to develop trust and you plus focus with your message. Speak clearly and audibly. Properly articulate your words. It must be clear, right? Project your voice to ensure that all students can hear you plus they can understand you. Avoid speaking too quickly or avoid that mumbling. Speak clearly means audibly. How your learners feel if you keep on speaking like this, or if you just try to speak something very quickly, they do not understand anything. Ultimately, after 5 or 10 minutes, if this is the same case, they just lose the interest in your class, right? All these will be hindering their comprehension. And plus, you are detracting from your message impact. You're not able to make that impact through your presentation at all. Third one is non-verbal cues. Please utilize your body language. Leverage on that non-verbal cues like your facial expressions. Your posture, it speaks a lot. Plus your gestures means you are trying to convey assurance, enthusiasm, plus your authority through your body language. Without words, you are able to make this impact. Stand tall. Maintain an open and welcoming posture. Use expressive gestures means you are trying to emphasize the key points. Your audience immediately they will understand with the modification in your tone. They understand, yes, this is a key point. This is the main point. I need to retain this information, particular information. And through this, you are able to maintain your audience immersion. Then infuse your communication with passion plus enthusiasm for the subject matter. Means you are trying to show your excitement, genuine excitement. Your enthusiasm plus your energy, they are contagious. It will be inspiring curiosity plus motivation in your students. Managing your Q&A sessions effectively is also very important. See, question and answer sessions, right? It will be offering valuable opportunities, especially for clarification, deeper exploration, and the student's keenness or dedication towards the subject matter. That's why in the end we have this uh, session of Q&A. Now, by adopting effective strategies, educators can navigate these sessions with self-confidence. You can develop meaningful dialogue and you can also enhance the learning outcomes. How? Let us see. Encourage questions throughout the presentation. Please cultivate an environment of openness and inquisitiveness. How? You can invite questions at various points during your presentation. It need not have to be necessarily during your introduction plus in the end. Even in between also, you can have a dialogue with your students. Means encourage your students to seek clarifications or share their insights as they arise. As and when they arise, you tell them, you please raise your hand. I'll allow you to ask your question. Clarify the concepts then and there. Means you are nurturing active participation plus critical thinking of your students. Then create a welcoming atmosphere where all your students feel comfortable in expressing their thoughts. They can have their inquiries without any hesitation or without the fear of judgment. So, as educators, you should only emphasize the value of curiosity and the role of questions in the learning process. Even you can periodically give pauses to promote questions from the class. You can try saying something like this. Please feel free to ask any questions, or even you can share your thoughts as we go along. Right? Your questions help deepen our understanding of the topic. Right? We can make our discussions more enriching. Any doubts? Any queries? Can we ask this? Yes. Then listen actively. You can rephrase your questions if needed. Means demonstrate the active listening. You pay close attention to each and every question that is posed by your students. Try to rephrase, paraphrase your questions. You are trying to ensure there is clarity. Yes, I have understood something. Means you are trying to confirm that you have understood the concept like this. Try to acknowledge their questions. And also you can express appreciation for their contribution. Right? You can encourage a spirit of collaboration, mutual respect, where all voices are heard. 50, 100, 200. Yes, everybody are heard, everybody are valued. Say you are a physics professor, you listen attentively to your student asking a question. Sir or ma'am, could you explain the concept of inertia again? Now, how do I rephrase this? Yes, to ensure the clarity, I can again say this. So, you are asking about how objects tend to stay in motion or at rest unless acted upon by an external force. Am I right? Okay. If you ask this restatement, it helps confirm the student's intent and it guides the response. That's why we need to listen actively. Plus, if needed, we can rephrase the question also. Then, provide concise and relevant answers. Admit if unsure and offer to follow. See, offer clear and concise responses that address the substance of each question, right? While we also must be having in mind the time constraints, and we also have to maintain the focus on whatever is the objective of our presentation. Suppose if you are uncertain about a particular question, what should we do? Yes, participants, somebody poses you a question in a session and you are unsure what needs to be done, or you do not know the answer. What should we do? One of your students poses some question to you. You are very unsure about the answer. You do not know the answer. What should we do? Should we scold them? Or should we not encourage them to ask the question? Or what should we do? Shall we say your question is a nonsense? Or shall we scold them? You are brainless. You do not know anything about the concept. Or shall we say can't you understand a simple topic? What shall we do?
We can say I'll clarify and get back to you.
Yes. It's very simple, isn't it? Thank you, Priya ma'am. Now, if uncertain about a particular question, openly acknowledge your limitations. We shall not feel embarrassed, we shall not feel ashamed, we shall not feel disgraced about it. Let us express our willingness to follow up with additional information or resources. Suppose a psychology seminar is going on. A student asks you a complex question about the say nuances of Freudian theory. What can we do? Politely only you can answer, you can respond. How? Yes, that's an interesting question. Say, while I'm confident in my understanding on the basics, I would like to delve deeper into this aspect. Let me look into it further and provide you with a more comprehensive answer in our next session. Is that fine? How does this work? Means you are demonstrating transparency, humility, plus we all have a growth mindset and a commitment to provide accurate information, isn't it? Okay. How do we enhance our online presentations? Since lockdown, yes, we have opened ourselves up for virtual engagements through presentations, webinars, meetings, right? Now, to make this effective, we also have to learn an additional set of etiquette. Absolute basics. Please make sure that you have a stable internet connection, good lighting, and a silent environment while you are teaching. These simple housekeeping details are important for an exceptional experience, right? Know your conferencing platform. So I told any number of platforms, right? With multiple platforms being available, we have to know, we have to understand at least the basic features. We cannot know all features. I definitely agree. At least the basic features of the platform, because we can make the best use of it, right? Please note that all platforms are not the same. Say, for example, as far as my knowledge goes, in Zoom, you can mute all the participants. Whereas in this Google Meet, we cannot do that. Am I right? I don't know. Is this right? Yes, sir. Try to reply or get it in the next session. Definitely. Thanks for that input, Dr. Ashok, sir. Yeah. I asked you a question. Yes. In Zoom, I think we can mute all the participants, whereas in Google Meet, we cannot do that. Am I right?
No, ma'am,
Yes.
we can do that, ma'am.
Do that? Okay.
Yeah, the host can do that.
Host can do that. Okay, fine. Thank you. Then, you can rehearse your presentation. That is very, very important. In whichever level you are, whichever level of educator you are, right? Try to rehearse your presentation in the conferencing platform in advance. Means we are making sure that it works as we planned it. You can use two screens to experience both the presenters and the learner's view. You can check your presentation. How is your performing audio, your video? Is it playing? How is it playing on the respective screens? When you are a presenter, when you are a learner, right? How you look, how you sound. Try to check this in advance. Then join ahead and get acquainted. Yes. As a presenter, you need to log into the platform at least 5 to 10 minutes ahead and welcome all your participants and talk to them. Means this will help you to engage with your pupils and understand what is their expectations of this particular session. Then always address people by name during the session. Means this will help in keeping them engaged, and also you can get the attention of others in the audience. Then all platforms, as we know, it comes with a chat facility, right? Try to use that so that you can engage your audience well. Pay attention to the chat once in a while, once in 5 minutes, once in 10 minutes. Even I keep checking that. And acknowledge the comments with the names, because the audience are the important aspect of your presentation, right? Okay. Then interact throughout the presentation. Explore the usage of the relevant features of your presentation. And in a virtual environment, as I told you, your facial expressions, your charisma, it might not work. What should we do? Hence, let us make the best use of our visual aids. Let that speak, right? And let us be descriptive about all our actions. We can use our voice well. We can show a lot of energy, enthusiasm to keep your audience engaged. We need to give a detailed description of everything, just like what we have in Netflix audio with description. Yes, that works well. Then circulate the presentations. Please be ready for that at last Q&A sessions in any presentation. On the other hand, yes, as a speaker, you can also circulate the presentation to your participants ahead of time. Means you are preparing them for the Q&A, question and answer session. Eye contact. See, in the virtual presentations, we see the people on the screen and speak. But that will not be establishing the eye contact. What you can do is you can see the camera when you are speaking. Yes, that means we are maintaining a good eye contact. Then having a co-host, is it important? Yes, while you are busy with your presentation, it's an excellent practice so that you will be having a co-host who can just be in the session. He or she will be monitoring the audience, managing them, and that co-host will be guiding you in keeping the session engaging. So following all these basic tips will help all of us, right? Okay. Next obvious thing is how to excel in our offline presentations. See, unlike online, offline presentations, they demand a meticulous preparation, attention to your logistical details. Then only we can ensure there is a smooth and impactful delivery. So by adhering to these few tips, yes, as educators, we all can optimize our classes for maximum effectiveness plus attention of your audience. Arrive early to set up equipment and familiarize yourself with the venue. If you arrive early, yes, it allows ample time to address any sort of unforeseen logistical challenges. It ensures there is a stress-free start to your presentation. Hope you all agree with me. Yes, you also can take a walk around the presentation space so that you can just get acquainted yourself with the layout. How is the seating arrangement? How are the acoustics? So, familiarizing yourself with the venue enhances your confidence plus your adaptability during the presentation. Then, test your AV equipment for functionality. Conduct a thorough testing of audiovisual equipment, including your microphones, projectors, speakers, to just to confirm the functionality and troubleshoot any sort of technical issues. Please ensure compatibility with your presentation materials. Make adjustments as needed, right? Then you can be optimizing your AV clarity, audiovisual clarity. Once you can practice, if you have time, using these audiovisual equipment, right? You'll be familiarizing yourself. How are the controls, right? And you can also anticipate if at all there will be any sort of potential challenges. Then verify that all multimedia elements are displayed correctly. Yes, even your audience at the last, they are able to view your screen. Plus, your sound levels are balanced for the optimal audience experience. Arrange seating in a manner that promotes interaction, collaboration, plus, as I told you, the visibility for all the attendees. You can just consider configurations such as a theater style seating if at all your audience are large in number. Or you can even plan for a circular seating for just intimate discussions or group activities. Plus, ensure the accessibility. Ensure that all attendees have clear sight lines to the presenter and the presentation materials. Please avoid obstructing views with don't use those large podiums or equipment, and try to prioritize accessibility for individuals, especially with mobility impairments. Even they must be able to view and listen. Then have backup materials in case of technical issues. This is very, very important. What we call as contingency planning. Means you are preparing backup materials such as printed handouts, supplementary visuals in case of some sort of unexpected technical issues, equipment failure. Let us be prepared. Let us have the backup materials. Means we are ensuring there is a continuity of our presentation. Nowhere we are going to stop it. It goes as however we planned. It also minimizes the disruptions in the event of any sort of difficulties using the technology. Then you can also identify a designated technical support contact or a team member who can assist you with any sort of troubleshooting the technical issues, right? Then you can communicate the contingency plans with your support staff or even with your volunteers, so that you can just streamline the problem solving efforts during any sort of presentation. Feedback and evaluation, they are the essential components of effective teaching, providing valuable insights for continuous improvement and refinement of all our presentation skills. So, by soliciting feedback from the participants and utilizing the evaluation mechanisms, as educators, we can enhance the quality and impact of our presentations. And yes, please don't forget to leave a feedback with the organizers even after my session also. Yes. Importance. What is the importance of soliciting feedback from participants? Encourage active participation by requesting feedback from the participants, especially at the conclusion of your presentation. So, acknowledge the value of diverse perspectives and experiences. It will be shaping your teaching practices and it will be fostering your continuous growth. Please don't feel bad about any sort of negative comments. Treat them as the areas of your improvement. That's it. Then try to adopt a student-centered approach to the feedback. Prioritize their voices, the experience of your participants. Create a supportive and inclusive environment where your participants, they feel, yes, we are empowered. We can share our honest and constructive feedback. No fear of judgment or reprisal. Yes. Then use of surveys or feedback forms to gather insights. So, structured feedback mechanisms means we are utilizing surveys, feedback forms, or online polls to systematically gather the insights from our participants. How was their learning experience? You can design questions that capture both quantitative data as well as the qualitative feedback. In quantitative, you can ask about their satisfaction ratings, the experiments, statistics. In qualitative feedback, you can give the open-ended questions so that you can be seeking the open-ended responses. their observations, document analysis. Yes, that means you are trying to provide a comprehensive understanding of the participant perceptions. If we understand only, we can adapt or we can modify our teaching styles, whichever is not working with our audience. Then you can also customize feedback instruments. Means we are trying to align with the specific objectives and format of our presentation. Modify the questions to assess the audience engagement, the content relevance, plus clarity of the delivery, right? And then analyze the feedback to identify areas for improvement. Why should we analyze the data? Analyzing the feedback data systematically means you are identifying the recurring themes, strengths, and areas of improvement. Try to pull together, collate the quantitative responses, means we are trying to identify the trends and patterns through that. You can also review the qualitative comments to gain deeper insights. How was my participants' experience? What are their perceptions? Yes, about my class. Then engage in reflective practice to critically evaluate your presentation performance and your instructional practices in light of your participants' feedback. So consider how feedback aligns with your intended learning outcomes. Identify all the actionable steps for refinement, for your enhancement, as I already told you. Then, continuous iteration and refinement of presentation skills, especially based on the feedback. Embrace that iterative approach, progressive approach to develop your presentation skills. Incorporate the feedback into subsequent iterations, repeated cycles, or versions of your presentations. Means you are trying to refine and enhance your presentation skills. Actively seek the opportunities for your own professional development, your own skill building, right? Then you'll be addressing all your identified areas for enhancement. And please remember to view your feedback as a catalyst for lifelong learning and growth. Please recognize that ongoing refinement of your presentation skills, it is essential for everybody's professional development, yours or mine. And we need to be as effective as an educator. So embrace feedback as a valuable tool for continuous improvement and innovation in your teaching practices, in all your teaching practices. Yes. In conclusion, I would like to say effective presentations are a blend of art and science. It requires intentionality, preparation, and also a commitment to continuous improvement. Embrace feedback, cultivate a growth mindset, and seize opportunities for further development. Means we all are trying to elevate our presentation skills and make a lasting impact on our audience. So together, let us embark on this journey of growth and excellence in presentation delivery. Yes, audience, the floor is now all yours for any questions that you may have.